The rhinos?
Yeah. The rhinos.
And I will tell you, I am like a child when it comes to them farting. I don't know why.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, like, you can hear it. It's so loud. It rumbles. Our female Monica especially,
she's just cutting
she'll
them.
just lay down and it's just like this long fart, and I'm like, where did that even come from? That was so loud.
Take a moment to breathe, grab a beverage or two. We got professional guests with lots of stories for you. So take a seat right here and join us on Careers Over Beers.
We can wing it.
Yeah, as ready as I'll ever be.
We can wing it? All right. Welcome to Careers Over Beers podcast, everybody. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. Today's going to be a fun episode for me because I'm an animal lover myself. I'm actually a huge zoo fan. I know it sounds kind of weird for a guy like me just to love the zoo, but I do. So go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us where you work and all that stuff.
Awesome. My name is Kiana Lucero. We both work at Tanganika Wildlife Park. I am an animal experience specialist, so I work on our team that does all of the meet and greets, behind the scenes, any of the guest-facing stuff.
Right on.
Nice.
And Ben?
Yeah, I am Ben Valencia, and I'm actually the Carnivore Supervisor.
That sounds dope.
Tanganika Wildlife Park.
That sounds dope. No offense. When I read your description, I was like, that's a little
I sound
more
a
up my alley.
lot cooler
He
than
sounds,
I am.
a little bit more badass than me.
Well, cool. So you're drinking Dr. Pepper, and you wanted a sour, so I think I ended up picking your favorite.
Did. I love that raspberry jam.
I'm glad because I was like, oh, shit, I don't really drink sours, and I don't know.
You are tonight.
I am tonight, and this is the one that they had up there that stuck out at me, so I'm like, all right, well, let's give this raspberry jam a try. Tall Grass Brewing Company.
If you're not a sour person, you're probably not going to like it. They're an acquired taste.
Well, I'm not a sour person, but I can force myself to drink anything.
Okay,
I'm
there
not.
you go.
I grew up on the days of drinking Natty Light out in a field somewhere that have been skunked in my trunk for a month. So, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Before we get started. It's sour.
Mm-hmm.
It's
different, huh?
It's definitely different, yeah. So, you guys were just kind of told to come on here. And so who wants to go first and start this off? I mean, there's not really any format to this podcast. We just kind of bullshit, So,
I can go for it.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you like working at the zoo?
I love it. It's I never thought I'd be in Kansas, that's for sure.
Really?
I actually, when I came out and did my interview, I was like, I'll go check this place out. It'll be a cool, behind the scenes experience. I'll get to check this facility out. And there's no way I'm moving to Kansas, though. I lived in California before this. So gave it a try and actually came out and really liked the facility. I was like, this is a really cool place.
You came here specifically to check out Tanganika?
I did.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, most of us are not from this area, so we all moved here for the job.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, the zoo field it's a small field, and there's not a whole lot of opportunities. There's not a whole lot of zoos to work at, so you've kind of got to move around a lot to find the job that you really want. And I liked that Tanganika has the up-close experiences with animals. So I was like, oh, these people get to feed lemurs, and they had the penguin swim and all this stuff that I'd never seen really at other facilities, and I like that
Right.
up-close interaction. So I was like, okay, this place is pretty cool, actually. And then I started looking at housing prices, and compared to California, this seemed like a smart move.
It's pretty nice, doesn't it?
Decided I was going to move to Kansas.
That's crazy. That's crazy, yeah. And Tanganika, it does offer that almost Jurassic Park type feel to it, where, like Jurassic Park, you're driving through the animals enclosure and you're in the cage. And Tanganika kind of gives you that up-close feeling that you don't normally get from other zoos, which is really cool.
For sure, yeah, that's what I really like about it. Most zoos, you're walking around looking at an enclosure, trying to find the animal and moving on.
Right.
But ours is more like, oh, you're actually interacting with this animal. You're feeding the rhino. You're feeding the hippo. The lemur's jumping on your lap. You're a little bit more in tune with what's going on.
Right. And how did you end up at Tanganika?
kind of similar situation. I was in New Orleans at the time, so I've been a little bit all around the U.S. for the field. Like Kiana was saying, it seems like a big field because there's zoos everywhere, right? But it's pretty small. You definitely know somebody that knows somebody that works somewhere. And actually, our boss, Lindley, the one who had us come here and tell us not anything about what we're doing, was like, hey, come interview for this facility. And same thing, I was like, I am not moving to Wichita, Kansas. Like, no, there's no way this is happening, but I'll do it. I'll give it a shot. I'll check it out. And they were just very upfront, honest, answered any questions that you have. We're very open about the changes that we're making to like improve the facility, about the culture and all that jazz. And similar to what Kiana was saying is you do have that, I like that Jurassic Park feel,
right?
A lot safer. But you do have that interaction because like when you're a kid and you go to the zoo, yeah, it's cool when you get to see a certain animal up close, right? You're like, me and that polar bear looked at each other.
Oh yeah.
But if you actually get to for sure have that experience every time, that I think is what makes that connection then and makes people actually excited about animals.
Yep.
And want to learn more about them rather than just being like, found it, next one, found it, that animal looks cool, I don't know anything about it. And this is just a way kind of to not only educate more but get people like genuinely excited, which is a part of the job that I think we both love. You do a lot more of the guest face first kind of thing. I get to hide in the shadows a bit, but
he's really good at it when he does do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in the age of YouTube and social media, like if you're looking at a tiger and it's going to be 50 feet away behind 2 panes of glass, why not just watch it on YouTube? You know, somebody that right up front, Joe Exotic, dumping in some meat, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, to have that connection and actually look at it, and it looks at you, and you know that's a special moment.
For sure.
Yeah. Cool. So what kind of training did it take? Like, you guys obviously were into this before you moved to Kansas. What led you to that path, like to go this route?
Everyone goes down kind of different paths. We both have different but kind of similar stories. Most people get like a 4-year degree in one of the life sciences, so biology, zoology, something along those lines, and then do internships, kind of try to get your foot in the door. Experience is a really big thing in this field. Like, education is important, but knowing how to read an animal's body language and how to take care of their sicknesses and all that is something that you kind of just have to learn rather than read about in a book. So that's how a lot of people get going. I actually found out about a school in California called the Exotic Animal Training and Management Program when I was in like 7th grade and decided that's where I was going to school. So moved out there, did that program, and I wanted to train animals for movies and TVs.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, that was my dream. And I got a job right after I graduated at a place called Animal Actors of Hollywood and started doing that. And training animals for TV work is kind of stressful. It's more working with people than animals, and working with people that don't know anything about animals, like directors that are like, oh yeah, we just need you to bring an opossum and he just has to sit there and we just need a shot, like a close-up shot of him. Okay, easy. And then you get there and he's like, no, we need the possum to climb up into the windowsill and open his mouth and growl, and we need him to drool. And I'm like, the only way I can get him to do that is if he's upset and he's going to bite me, and I'm not going to do that. So,
you guys got CGI, figure that out.
Yeah. So decided that I really wanted to do more of the education side of things. So I started working for a company that went out and did outreach to schools, taking animals to schools and teaching kids about them, and really enjoyed that. And then decided to get a marine biology degree. Did that.
Did you really?
And then decided to move to Kansas for penguins and otters. Everyone's like, you got a marine biology degree and moved to Kansas.
Yeah.
Okay.
You would think a marine biologist be like out on the ocean or something, you know?
Yeah. So that's
the place to go.
That's my degree,
Wichita.
and here we are. Middle of nowhere.
So, and did you go to school as well?
Yeah, so I actually just went to, at first, a community college, and I was getting into psychology.
Okay.
And didn't even think of like zookeeping being a field. It was not on my radar. I loved animals.
You weren't even thinking about it back then?
No. Always loved animals, but everyone...
I'm pushing this just a tad bit closer.
Everyone was always like, oh, like, you're going to be a vet. And
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't. I don't want to be a vet. That's definitely not it. I want to work with animals, but I don't want to be a vet. So I was like, if I go to school for psychology, maybe I can make some money and then maybe just volunteer with cool animals or something or figure out. And then while I was going to college, similar style, found a training facility in Washington. That's with exotic cats, and was like, I can do this. Let's see.
Really?
Like, let's actually just drop everything and let's go. So, just went to this. It was like a boot camp almost for zookeeping.
Oh, really?
It's like a year program. You're going to school. You're working at a small zoo, but at a zoo, learning how to do things with guests. And then, was lucky there. Got hired on there right after I graduated, and kind of have moved to different places, different facilities as I've gone. And then I always wanted to work with cats. Exotic cats was kind of my jam, or small cats, domestic cats even. I love cats. I'm that weird cat person. That's like, something's wrong with that one.
Tiger
like,
King.
You're obsessed with cats. No, definitely to go there.
Did you ever come across Tiger King?
No, I have not. No.
He definitely opened the eyes of the underbelly of the zoo world there, right? With how he was operating things.
He's been known in the field for a long time. Like, we've been aware of him, and he's kind of one of those people that you're like, okay, this is what we're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Trying to, everything that zoos are not.
Right, because there's a lot of people out there that, they have these, we can touch on this more, but they have these ideas in their heads that the animals are being mistreated if they're in a zoo and all that jazz. And I know I've talked to people that work at Sedgwick County Zoo before, and they've explained that some of these animals would never survive in the wild. They're rescues. I'm sure you guys have similar stories about that.
For sure, yeah. Most animals that have been raised in a human care setting, that's all they know. They don't know how to survive in the wild. So where we look at it as you're in this tiny little box and you're not in the wild, but they've never known what the wild is. And right now the wild isn't that great of a place for a lot of animals. Like, there's not a whole lot of open space for them to be. So if this is all they've known and they're put back into that situation, they're not going to know what to do.
Right. Kind of like a dog, We've domesticated dogs so much to love us and to stay with us that you release one into the wild and good luck. Like,
exactly, yeah. I actually heard that used the other day when someone was talking about releasing killer whales into the wild. They're like, okay, you take this whale that has been born into this setting and has lived here its whole life, and now you want to put it back out into the wild. That's terrifying for it. Like, it's experiencing all these noises it's never experienced. It's having to learn to hunt. It's being picked on by other whales, trying to integrate into a pod, and probably is never going to happen. And they use that same analogy of, okay, your dog has lived in your house this whole life. Imagine going and dropping it in the Serengeti. Like, it's not going to like it. It's going to be like, yourself. Mom, what did you do to me? And that's what happened with Keiko, the killer whale that they released. He was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, he kept going up to people and being like, can you feed me? I'm hungry. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's, the same kind of similarity.
Imagine putting yourself out in the Serengeti.
Yeah, right?
You're going to want your apartment with DoorDash Taco Bell.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what you're used to.
Yeah. It's crazy. I've seen some of those videos on, like, the bears and tigers and stuff that drug lords have owned, and they all live together. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
People do some crazy stuff out there, but we get to deal with the back end of it, where they realize, okay, I've got this tiger and now I can't take care of it and I don't know what I'm doing, and now it's malnourished because I didn't know how to feed it properly.
Yeah.
And they drop it off at a zoo, and now we're like, okay, well, now we have to deal with the consequences of its medical care and actually giving it a proper diet and taking care of it and all of this stuff.
Yeah, let's get into that. For big cats.
Yeah.
What's their diet like?
Raw meat.
Raw meat?
All raw meat.
Just like Liver King?
They're obligate carnivores, so like they have to have raw meat. So you can't turn your cat into like a vegan or vegetarian.
Right.
It won't work. That's not how their digestive system works. So they have to have raw meat. But our guys specifically get a whole variety. So they get like a special ground meat that is for facilities, zoos that have carnivores. They also get like a chunk meat that we use a lot of times for training, and then they'll also get like whole prey. So like whole rabbits, whole guinea pigs. Sad, but the circle of life kind of thing.
It's
good.
Nature's
for them.
not a nice place.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for them too. So we we have a cool variety of things, I think, for them to actually eat.
Yeah. I've seen videos of those big cats, like tigers, like munching on a whole chicken, just crunching through those bones.
Oh, yeah. They eat it like it's nothing. Our tigers eat it like it's nothing.
Yeah. How much meat does a tiger eat every day?
Depends on the tiger. So I also have to deal with their diets, essentially. So, like, I have to look at the cats, check their body conditions, increase, decrease, depending. Seasonally, it makes a difference. In the summer, they're going to eat less than they do in the winter when it's cooler out, so they're eating a lot more in the winter. But right now, our male is just over, I think, 10 pounds 5 days a week. Our female's pretty close to that, too. And they're not full grown yet, so they're going to get higher and higher. Our male lion will be about the same size as our male tiger when he's full grown.
Oh, really?
And he gets about like 12 and a half in like the winter. Right now he's at like 11 and a half pounds 5 days a week.
A day?
Yeah,
so that's
5
10
days
pounds
a week,
a day.
11 and a half pounds
a day.
Yeah, so they have 2 fast days if they're adults. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. And you want to make sure they don't get fat. They'd probably eat more if you let them.
Correct. Don't want them to get fat. Well, I have a female lion that she'll eat all the time. If you just keep feeding her, she'll just keep eating, and then you have a very unhealthy, obese lion that is just sitting there.
I have friends
not
like
doing
that.
Much. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We have to have self-control sometimes, right? You just want to keep eating. And some of the cats are really good, and they'll take care of themselves. They're like, nah, I'm full. I don't need to eat the rest of this. But, yeah, no, Valkyrie, one of our female lionesses, will just go to town all day, every day. And I'm like, slow down a little.
Chill out.
Yeah,
that's crazy, because meat's a hard thing to overeat.
Yeah.
You know? If you just try to sit down and overeat steak, you're going to get full.
Yeah, not for them. Yeah, in general.
True.
Yeah, for them, piece of cake.
So big cats are your favorite thing.
Yeah, big cats are.
What's your favorite animal?
At Tanganika, the otters.
Otters?
I love those little boys. Yeah,
otters are cool.
The penguins and the otters are what convinced me to move to Kansas to get to the penguin swim. It's something that no other facility does that we're aware of in the United States. So,
really?
That was really the thing that was like, all right, this place is pretty unique. I think I want to check that out. So the penguins initially kind of sparked my interest, but I've always loved otters too.
Otters are fun to watch.
They are. They're little
otters
spazzes.
Yeah.
Ben loves them too.
I love otters.
Yeah.
They're so mischievous.
People don't realize, too, they'll munch down on some bones. You know, they got those.
Oh, they got super sharp teeth. Yeah. The ones that we have, they're the smallest species. So they're only like 7 to 10 pounds. They're pretty tiny, but their bite strength is 3 times stronger than any other animal their size. So they eat crustaceans mostly in the wild. They'll just munch on a crab and eat the whole thing. Yep, shell and all.
Yeah.
So we give them little crawdads to chew on. Yeah, they just munch it down like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Eat the shell.
They're native to Kansas, too, right?
We have North American river otters that used to be native to Kansas. They're starting to be reintroduced around here, so potentially might be more widespread one day. But the species we have at Tanganika is the Asian small-clawed otter. So they're from Southeast Asia.
Right on. And penguins, you guys have the big emperor ones, don't you?
We don't. We have African penguins.
Penguins,
they're
okay.
a warm weather species of penguin. Most people think of penguins and think of cold, but most penguins actually live in warm places. Out of the 18 species, only 8 of them live where it's cold.
Is that right?
Yeah, so more than half of them live in warm climates.
Huh.
Fun fact of the day.
Yeah. So there's African penguins. There's penguins in South America, Australia, New Zealand. They're all over the place.
Are they in North America?
No, they're only found in the southern hemisphere. So anything south of the equator. Nothing past the equator for penguins.
Is it true that they propose to each other with a pebble?
In some species.
I saw that one coming.
I see that on social media, and I'm like,
Not all of them. Ours do definitely flirt with each other. African penguins have like a courtship, so they do like a little head shake to each other, and then they do something called a bray, where they bray just like, sounds like a donkey. They'll call back and forth to each other and kind of build those bonds with each other. So they definitely build those bonds and have those relationships, but they don't like propose to each other.
Gotcha.
I thought you performed a ceremony just last week for them.
We do weddings with penguins. We have a couple penguins that are trained to walk down the aisle.
I've heard about
carry
that.
rings down the aisle. So they have attended weddings, and they've done some proposals themselves too. But
Yeah.
That's
not
badass.
to each other.
Are those the only animals you guys allow to interact for weddings and stuff?
No, we have quite a few. We've done a porcupine wedding, a goat, a llama, a warthog walked down the aisle once. So there's quite a few.
Yeah.
The penguins are definitely the most popular. They've got the built-in tuxedo already, and trained to carry the rings around their neck, and they can usually walk down the aisle without a person with them, so you don't have to have like a zookeeper in your photos. Where like the warthog, you're gonna have to have a couple people holding her leash to walk her down.
Run
So the penguins are definitely the most popular. But
what about a giraffe? What if you made a giraffe like one of your groomsmen, and you're like, "Hey, where's those rings?" He leans down and hands them to you. Think you could do that?
I don't know that a giraffe would be smart enough to hand some rings out. They're not the smartest creatures
I've worked
in the
with
world.
giraffes. That ring will be gone.
Yeah. You could maybe tie it around their neck or something, reach up and grab it off.
Not
but
the
they're
smartest,
not
huh?
going to hand it to
Oh,
you.
no. I love the giraffe, but I would not describe a giraffe as smart.
What's the dumbest animal you think you guys have?
That's a good question.
'Cause I always thought like birds, like chickens, those are pretty dumb, aren't they?
Yeah,
Birds can be pretty
They
smart,
can be
though.
smart, but they can also be, not
Anything
the
that can
smartest.
survive with its head cut off might not be the smartest.
Not the smartest
Yeah.
animal.
I don't know about the dumbest, but I'll say some of the hardest animals to train are probably reptiles. Some of them are super smart. Like I've worked with some tegus and stuff that were trained to spin and rise and do all kinds of stuff, but it takes a while.
Yeah.
So we have some of our smaller lizards, like our Uromastyx and our bearded dragon. They're target trained. They're trained to touch their nose to a little ball on a stick, and they get treats for that. But they very much like do it when they want to. So it takes a while. I think the people that trained it took months to
Maybe
train
they're
them.
smarter because they
Right?
do it when they want to.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you want me to do that? No.
Nah. Cats get like that too, don't they?
Oh,
Oh,
100%.
They'll be like, I don't care what you're
I
saying.
feel so amazing. Like, talk about feeling confident when a cat does something you ask. Like, it's
She's
like,
like, yes.
your cat at home, right? You want it to do something, and it's like,
They don't give a shit about you.
no, I'm not doing anything you ask me. Are you kidding me? Like, look
Yeah.
at me, look at you. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So we definitely have cats and animals, but cats that are just like, you
Yeah.
kidding me right now? Yeah, like
I'll kill you if
You
you-
go do that. Like I'm not gonna do that. So when you build that relationship, though, like a lot of the beginning is just relationship building and getting them used to you and learning each other's styles, even behavior. They have to learn ours just as much as we have to learn theirs.
Yeah.
Because I have a very different style than any of my keepers, and all my keepers have a different style than I do. And then also AES, the team Kiana's on, also helps train all the animals essentially.
Yeah.
So they have different styles also than what I have. So like there's this whole thing that goes in of they really have to get to know you and trust you and build that bond before, especially for a cat, before they listen to you because
Right.
it's a cat.
But it is possible with cats.
Absolutely. Very
Yeah.
possible.
A lot of people think it's not.
Yeah, no, we can do a lot of cool stuff with a cat. I mean, you can train a goldfish. You just got to be patient and know what it wants.
You got to reteach it every day?
No, it actually will have it. I've seen a goldfish like jump through hoops even. Like it's
Really?
Yeah. Could I do it? Probably not. I mean, I guess if I really wanted to, but I'm not sure I'd be good with fish as I am with cats.
Fish don't seem like the smartest animals.
Yeah, definitely not. When I did movie and TV stuff, I was always amazed with the cats that they would train, like just domestic house cats. But any commercial that you see that has a cat, and it's trained to do that. Like they're trained to go to a little mark, like a little thing on the ground. They're trained to go out to that, and they're trained to like rise up and wave, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you see a cat scratching like it's looking for food, it's trained to do that. And those cats are amazing. Like
Yeah.
the work that they put into them was always impressive to me. I'm like, my cat just sits on the couch, but
No, my cat
these
just
ones are
bites me.
awesome. Yeah.
And a lot of people here. I'm going to fix your mic real quick.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's blocking your face a tad.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it looks a little better. A lot of people don't think that their pet cats can learn their names like a dog, but they can, you think?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
They know their names.
Yeah.
Do they?
Mine know
Yeah.
their
They just
names.
don't care.
Yeah. Even like animals, like our tigers, right? We do a training demo.
Uh-huh.
So people want to know their names. What are their names? So we tell them, this is Grayson, this one's Sienna. And then they'll start yelling their names. And the tigers are like, "Pfft, I don't know you and don't look." And they're like, "Oh, do they not know their names?" And I'm like, "No, they just don't like you."
They just don't
No.
care.
Yeah. It's like, no, they don't know who you are. They know our voices. Like, they will know your voice. They know your walk. They know what you look like. Like, they
know more than you think.
They know you. Yeah. They recognize a lot more than people give them credit. So, absolutely. Your cat at home knows its name. And
it just doesn't care.
No. It's just like,
Unless it needs something.
when I'm watching football and the missus wants me to do something, like, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, hey, Ben. You're like,
yeah.
And you're like,
I asked you 3 times. Oh,
I didn't hear it.
I didn't even know you were here.
oh, man. Yeah, that's good. Reptiles don't seem like they'd be the smartest.
No.
I agree with that one.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that
some
was a
of
good
them
one.
definitely can. Alligators are pretty smart. You can train them quite a few things.
Really?
Yeah, tegus, savanna monitors in general are pretty smart, but it's just a lot of work. You gotta be patient, just like the goldfish.
Do you guys have Komodo dragons?
We do not.
I wish.
Those things are pretty crazy.
They are.
That's
pretty
like a
cool.
dinosaur.
Yeah.
You know? Reptiles in general are dinosaurs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
pretty
birds.
much. Yep.
And birds, yeah. I always hear people say that. Like
Yeah.
a chicken's biggest relative is a T-Rex. Or no, it's the other way around. T-Rex's closest relative is a chicken to today's standard, yeah.
I mean, we got some hornbills in, which are super cool, and those are dinosaurs.
Hornbills?
Yeah. You'll have
They
to
look
look
like
them
dinosaurs.
up. It's dinosaurs.
Really?
Yeah, they're
I'm
super
going to
cool.
look it up.
I think it's the ground hornbills are the
Ones that we have.
ones that we have, yeah.
A lot of people say birds are scary.
I agree. Specifically parrots.
Oh, one of these things?
Yeah.
That's
That's
not
a
the ones
different
we
it's
have,
a different
but yeah.
species, but yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Crazy looking.
They're so cool.
Yeah, you don't want birds to be like. Can you imagine in the ancient times, like in the, I don't know what the period was exactly. Look at me acting like I know those Jurassic periods and stuff. One of those periods, there were these giant birds, right? Like what are those called? Pterodactyl,
Oh, yeah.
but giant.
Yeah.
Like I've seen them in a museum where they're like 12 feet tall. Screw that.
Yeah, no, that'd be terrifying.
That'd be horrifying.
Yeah, no.
Because those things don't care about you at all.
The rayas, the
I'm a-
ostriches that are huge, the ones that look like ostriches but
Yeah.
huge.
They're big
Terrifying.
rays. They're terrifying. Yeah, like I'm afraid of parrots, so I don't want to see a giant bird. Like, no. No.
Parrots are cool though. I
They're
can't believe how long they
terrifying.
live.
Yeah, they live a long time.
Yeah,
Parrots, tortoises.
one of my buddies used to work at a pet store, and I was in there one day just looking around, and there was a parrot sitting there, and he was like, it talks and stuff, you know. And he goes, that thing is 60 years old. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, that thing will outlive us.
Yeah.
Yep.
You gotta put that thing in your will.
Crazy.
Yeah. You gotta like that's why people have kids. It's just so that way they'll take care of their parrot.
yeah.
I gotta have somebody take care of my baby.
Pass this down.
Yeah.
But you don't like parrots?
No, I don't want to say I don't like them. I love all animals, but they scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I cannot read. And it's probably because I can't read them. I cannot read a parrot to save my life. I can read a cat very well, not a parrot. And the people that I even talk to that are like, oh, don't worry. When its eyes do that, that's either really excited or it's about to bite you. And I'm like, so which is it? Because I don't want to get bit by this thing that could bite through my finger. Like, so I just kind of opt to keep my distance
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
parrots. Yeah.
Cues are very, very subtle.
The
Yeah.
bird does not
Yeah.
care about you
No.
at all.
No.
The cat maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm still on the fence.
Yeah.
Because I've heard stories of people, like if you die in your house and you have a pet cat or a pet dog, a lot of people will say that that dog will starve to death.
Yeah.
But that cat,
The dog will curl up next to you and go to bed. The cat might eat you.
Yeah.
the cat will start eating on
Yeah.
you.
Which I hope mine does. Survive, cat.
You know what? I would
If
give
one
my
of us
body.
is dead,
Yeah, I would give my body up for the animals.
I don't need both of them to die.
Yeah.
Okay, just go ahead.
Like we're so weird about that. We wrap ourselves up and put ourselves in a box and bury.
Yeah.
It's like we've lived off of this earth for all these years, absorbing nutrients and energy. Like, give it back.
Yeah.
Let the cats have their way with me.
100%.
might as well.
Yeah. You guys should offer that at Tanganika.
Yeah.
Alternate burial.
Yeah, we have a whole new burial process.
We have a whole new burial. Yeah. Just drop you off in the back and
You could be eaten by a tiger.
I don't think they would eat us. I bet we taste horrible.
Probably.
oh yeah.
Yeah, no. We
Yeah.
gotta taste horrible.
drinking Dr. Pepper and sour
the
beers.
stuff we put in our bodies, there's no
like,
way we
I'm not
taste
touching
good.
that.
Yeah.
No.
And
Well-
they've been spoiled as hell. The food that they eat, we would not be even close to.
They got some nice fresh beef.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're used to sirloin steaks. They're like, I'm not eating human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff Dahmer would, though.
Yes. But I've heard if you had tattoos, we don't taste as good. So
Is that right?
get yourself a tattoo.
I'm sure Americans
screwed.
taste the worst out of every human.
Probably.
Probably.
So
Or
unnatural.
Close.
we're really sweet because of all the sugar we eat.
I don't know.
Or we're very marbled. We're like Wagyu.
Yeah.
You know? So working with people at the zoo, I'm sure you got a lot of weird stories and weird visitors. Do you want to share some of those? Do you have anything that pops out that's weird?
Weird stories.
Any
about
encounters?
visitors.
First of all, are there a lot of stupid people that come in there and know nothing?
I try not to call them stupid, but there are definitely a lot of misinformed
Uneducated.
people. I mean, people come into the penguin exhibit pretty much every day and don't realize that penguins can't fly, and so they're like, why aren't they flying around? Well, they're a non-flighted bird. I had one person one time, we have bands around our penguins' wings. It's a way to kind of tell them apart from all the other penguins. And I had one lady come in and ask if it was an anti-gravity band. So it kept them down on the ground, and if we took the bands off, could they fly? It's like, no, they're a non-flighted bird, so they just don't do that.
Alien technology, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's probably just what we've been fed in our mind and what we see on TV is what we think is real. And people come into the zoo and have all of these ideas in their brain of what's real, and it's usually not. Like, porcupines don't shoot their quills, but every time I have the porcupine out, someone's going to ask me, well, why isn't he shooting his quills at me?
That is a crazy one. Like, growing up, I
They
thought
don't.
that too.
Yeah, most people do. You see it in cartoons, and you just assume that that's real life, but they don't shoot their quills.
So when a dog gets a bunch of quills stuck in its face, is that just from
The
trying to bite
porcupine
it?
is, either standing still and the dog takes a bite of it, or a lot of times they will back into the dog and stick those quills into their face.
So when they stick in, though, they stay.
Yeah, the North American porcupines, they're barbed on the end, so they have a little hook that gets stuck under the end, under the skin, and they will pull out of the porcupine. So a lot of people just think that they shot them at them, but not the case.
That would be cool if they did shoot them, though.
Right?
Like a needler in Halo.
Yeah. That would be terrifying, though.
Do you know anybody that's ever been hooked by one of those porcupines?
I don't. No.
I know somebody that it was a different facility, but it was similar, walking a porcupine, and a little girl came in and just screamed at the top of her lungs, and we were in a building. So it was scary, right? That's
Yeah.
very loud. And that's why we always have two people to kind of be like, hey, if we could keep our voice just regular level. But
Yeah.
she, like, blood curdling scream. I think she was just really excited, but still spooked the porcupine. Porcupine got all big, and the quill went into the trainer's shoe, like boot.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if it was through her foot or just in the shoe or what. And so I'm just like, oh, like this is
You just
a
see it
good
sticking
kind
in
of
there?
thing. Yeah, you just see it straight up, and I'm like, are you okay? Like, and she's like, I think so. She's like, but we should probably, put the
Wrap this
porcupine
up.
away and let's go see what happens. And so it went perfectly between the toes, though.
Nice.
So,
Really?
Yeah, she was fine.
Oh, wow. Because it does sound painful, being barbed and all.
Oh yeah,
That sounds
I've
horrible.
done it to myself once.
Just to see
on
what it
accident.
felt like.
No, I was grabbing something and there was a quill that happened to, like, they shed their quills, like
Oh, yeah.
hair. So I was grabbing something, there happened to be one, and it just went into my thumb, and it does not feel good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't imagine it would.
No.
At least they're not shooting, though. That would be scary.
Yes, yeah.
You wouldn't want to go near one of those things if that was the case.
For sure. That would be terrifying.
Like llamas, they'll spit in your face, won't they?
Yeah,
You ever had that happen?
No.
I have not.
You gotta
Thankfully.
do something and make them not happy.
Yeah.
Llamas are good guard dogs, though.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of farmers out here in this area that have sheep, and they'll have one llama sitting out there, and they'll scare anything off.
Oh yeah.
We have one that protects our goats, and we call him Uncle Frankie because he loves those goats. They jump all over him, especially the babies are always climbing all over him. And anytime we walk him, we put him on a harness and take him away. And getting him away from the goats is always the hardest part.
Really?
Once he's out, he's great, but getting them away is like, come on, Frankie, let's go. He's like,
He's that protective?
I can't leave my goats.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's a good little guard llama.
Yeah, llamas are pretty cool.
Yeah.
You guys got llamas, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. And alpacas. Right.
And alpacas. Yeah. Anyways, back to visitors.
Yeah,
We
so
did
it's
not
mostly
get off topic.
just uninformed people that see something, they assume it's real, it gets in their brain, those
Right.
wives' tales that kind of get passed down and aren't actually true. So that's most of what we deal with is just people that think they know what they're talking about, and we have to inform them of what's real.
Can you think of any old wives' tales that people always bring up that you want to dispel? Like, I know the penguins that can't fly.
Yeah, penguins can't fly. They don't have anti-gravity bands on them. Porcupines don't shoot their quills. Another one that I think is really important is a lot of times people will see a baby bird and they'll say, well, I can't touch it because it'll get my smell on it and mom won't take care of it.
Yeah.
Most birds don't smell, so they don't care if you touch it or not. They can't smell anything.
Really?
So the best thing you can do is either to find the nest, put it back in the nest, or just leave it where it is on the ground. A lot of times when birds are fledging, learning how to fly, they'll fall out of the nest, and it might take them a little bit to figure out how to get the wind under their wings to be able to fly back up, but they're learning. They're not injured. They're just on the ground trying to figure it out, and you taking them away from that situation is really the worst thing you can do because now mom is nowhere around to help them figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's a big one.
And a lot of animals don't survive, too. Like, the survival rate for most babies out in nature, it's not the greatest, right?
Yep, that's why a lot of prey animals have a lot of babies because it's intended for not all of them to survive.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
That's why they have a whole litter?
Yeah, like mice and rats, they're going to have a whole bunch of babies because they know most of you are going to get eaten by something.
Yeah. That's what having a good house cat's for, right?
Right?
Which, house cats, they're the exact same as big cats, aren't they? As far as, like, their demeanor and everything?
I mean,
For the most part?
Like, the difference is that they're not as dangerous. Like, so, like, yes, they are
Just
still
because of their size, though,
predators. Yeah, they are still predators. They are still hunters. They are natural-born killers. They just are nicer and less
Littler.
giant, and smaller, and
Been around people a
been
little
around
longer.
people, domesticated a bit, But otherwise, yes, if you give a cat a box, they will sit inside of it.
Cat is a cat.
Big box.
Yeah.
For the tigers and lions.
Oh, yeah, we get stoked when we get, like, a refrigerator box or something.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You throw it out there for
It's
them?
like, somebody please give us this giant box so they can actually fit in it, because otherwise, the box is tiny compared to them. Like,
Why do you think they like doing that? That's kind of crazy.
That's a great question. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just a fun
Just
thing.
an instinct
of,
thing?
You know,
Like-
let me just see if I fit.
Gotta get in there.
If I fits, I sits kind of thing. But, and then they just destroy it. That box will be shredded into pieces very quickly. But, yeah, a lot of times, first you gotta lay in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they prefer to catch live prey? Or do they not care when they get bigger?
No, I mean, like, none of our cats have had live prey.
Yeah.
So all of the animals that Tanganika have, they're already deceased. They come frozen. We thaw them out, and then we feed them out.
And they don't care about that at all? You don't
No, not at all. Yeah, they are still just as that is my food, and I'm gonna hold on to this food as they would be otherwise. And that's just more of like humane. We love all animals, so we don't want to be putting other animals through there. And then
Right.
it still poses a danger also for both parties, for that matter. Things can go wrong. So
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
just go
Rabbit
ahead
could
and-
scratch your eye out or something like that.
They're
Yeah.
going to fight back.
They're running for their lives,
Yeah.
so they're gonna try and survive.
But a little bunny never sneaks into the tiger cage and gets picked up?
I mean, they have, like, birds fly in, or, we have had, like, bunnies in that area, but a lot of the times, like, cats know to save their energy, and since our cats are hand-fed, essentially, they get fed when they're training or just
They're not even gonna mess with it.
chilling, they're like, they look at it, and they're like, meh, that ain't really
That looks
worth
like
it.
work.
Yeah, like, So sometimes,
I made my steak
absolutely,
human.
we have some, that have caught some birds and stuff. But a lot of times, they'll just look at it and they're like, "Nah, that's gonna take too much energy, and I'm full. I'm good." So,
I've heard that's why dogs like that little squeaky noise though in their toys, is because it reminds them of like a dying rabbit or something like that.
For sure.
it does sound like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to murder this toy.
Yeah.
Is there anything that prefers live prey that you guys actually give live prey?
No.
Everything at the zoo gets already deceased.
Yeah.
Even the penguins, we feed them fish that was frozen and shipped to us. We thaw it out and hand
Really?
it to them.
Yeah.
We will give them like minnows sometimes in the pool to chase around, but they usually chase it around until it dies, and then they're like, I don't want to eat that.
It'd be cool to have
what
like
you
a
used
full
to.
Jurassic Park. Like they drop that cow down into the, and it's alive,
When they
just
drop
moving.
that goat or whatever,
and then
and
the
then
raptors just tear it to
gone.
pieces. Yeah. That'd be a little morbid.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Which animal smells the worst?
Probably the otters.
You think so?
Really?
I think they're awful.
I'm-
Some of the cats are bad too, though.
I think male giraffes is my least favorite smell.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's just a very, very pungent, like even their urine, when they're just going to
Oof.
the bathroom, it's just, and it sticks on you. So like,
It sticks?
yeah, like
Sure, it's urine?
just the
With you,
smell.
yeah.
Like you're
Oh.
just, yeah. I don't get peed on by the giraffe, but the smell of it, and I don't even work with them anymore, but it just like sticks on you. Like you're smelling like giraffe ass all day until you finally shower when you get home. You're just smelling bad. Whereas otters, I agree, is a strong smell.
Otters is like when you're there, it's the
Yeah.
worst. Like when it's
It
in front of you, it's
doesn't stay
awful.
on
But
you.
I think all hoofstock sticks with you
Sticks,
longer.
yeah.
Like anytime I go into any of the hoofstock areas, I'm like, okay, I'm going home and showering immediately. But I can work with the otters all day and be like, I'll still go out afterwards.
Although I will say, like, the keepers that work on our Troublemakers Cove team, which is like otters, penguins, sloths, things like that,
Yeah.
they do smell like fish.
Yeah.
Like, all day, because that's what they're feeding majority of the day. So, like,
Yeah.
that's not exactly the animal that smells, but it's the keeper that smells just because of the animals
'cause
they
they're throwing
work
them
with.
dead
Yeah,
fish all
what
day
they're
long.
eating kind of thing. Our binturongs have a very, very strong smell. I don't think it's like a bad smell, though. Like, they're known to smell like popcorn.
Oh, yeah?
I think it smells like musty Fritos and popcorn almost.
Musty Fritos.
Mixed with
Kind of like dog
popcorn.
feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great
Dog's
comparison.
feet smell like Fritos.
Dog's feet kind of smell like Fritos, yeah. And then mix in some buttered popcorn and you got a binturong smell right there. And that'll hit you like outside the building. You can smell it before you walk in the door. They're just very strong smelling, but yeah, worst smell. Yeah, probably either the otter
Right.
poop or I
Giraffe
think
piss.
giraffe. Yeah, giraffe piss. Specifically the males is just bad.
Linger.
Yeah.
I don't think cats smell that bad, but I also could be I'm used to it all the time, so I could be.
Cats do
When
that
you
thing.
have like one of the big buckets out there,
Yeah, like
And
it's,
you walk by, you're
it's
like, okay,
pretty
that's
strong. Just when it's
Big
a
buckets
bunch
of what?
a bunch of poop all together.
poop bucket, yeah,
Oh,
all of the
yeah.
cats poop in
Yeah.
one big bucket.
I could bet that's pretty
It's a
rank.
great
Yeah.
just blend, just waft it in.
Yeah, it's all meat diet too.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We can make candles.
Did they ever rip some nasty farts out there?
Not as often as I would like, to be honest.
Do any of the animals?
Our host stocks, absolutely the rhinos.
The rhinos.
And I will tell you, I am like a child when it comes to them farting. I don't know
Can
why.
you hear it?
Yeah, like you can hear it. It's so loud. It rumbles. Our female Monica especially, like
She's just cutting
she'll
them.
just like lay down and it's just like this long fart, and I'm like, where did that even come from? That was so loud. So yeah, I think
That's awesome.
that's who I hear fart the most, or I get told about as well that farts the most.
I would love to experience that.
Yeah,
I love rhinos. Those
Yeah.
Rhinos are dope.
they are pretty dope, and they have very loud
If
farts.
only we could predict it. We could tell you to come out, experience a rhino fart. Right?
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'll have one of the keepers. I'll have Sierra record one or something.
Yeah.
Be like, here you go. This is a solid rhino fart.
Rhinos, as fierce as they look, and like they look like a triceratops, they're pretty tame every time that I see them out there. Will they mess you up, or you think I could have a pet rhino? And
And they definitely have the ability to. They're They could definitely hurt you, but again, ours have been around people their whole life, so they're used to coming up and getting scratches from us and taking treats from us, so they're very conditioned to being around people. But if I did something to make that rhino mad and I was on its same turf, yeah, it's not going to care if I like it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get one hit from that horn.
You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the solid force of it. Like we are
6,000-pound animal running at
That'd
you.
be pretty savage to have a pet one, though, wouldn't it?
That would be
Just hanging out.
insane and so expensive.
It's very expensive.
And so
I mean,
Well,
a lot of
rhinos,
property.
they're
Herbivores.
herbivores, yeah.
Yep.
Yep, they eat all
But,
kinds of grasses and plants,
Just
but
the
a
amount
lot of
that
it.
we have to feed. Just one.
Yeah.
Is astronomical.
Just a bunch of hay.
Yeah, so much.
They
go
get
through
some
so
pelleted
much.
diet too,
Yeah.
and some produce.
Yeah, they got like that armor plating on them, too.
Yeah.
It's real cool.
Yeah, they got like 2-inch thick skin. They're
Yeah.
insane. They're just like a armored giant dog car thing.
Dog car thing.
Our thing.
And everybody knows about the hippos, how dangerous those can be.
Yeah.
You don't want to see one of those in the wild.
Yeah,
No.
we have the.
I mean,
pygmy
I would love to
hippos,
from
so
far away.
The pygmies, yeah.
Yeah,
we
we
have the
pygmies.
little ones, but yeah, a Nile hippo could snap you in half easily.
Is the pygmy a natural occurrence, or is it something that humans have bred?
They are, yeah, they occur
Really?
in the wild. Yeah, they're on the west side of Africa. They're more of a forest species, so they're more elusive. You don't see them very often.
Yeah.
Like when you go on safari, you're gonna see a Nile hippo. Like they're pretty common out
Yeah,
there, but
the great big ones.
yeah, not the pygmies. They like to hide in the forest and stay away from people a little bit more.
Yeah, and the babies. Those are some little cuties.
Yeah.
Those little baby pygmy hippos are like this big.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a few of them at the park.
Yeah.
Just little footballs.
How do you know how old Locke is now?
He was born in December, so
Okay.
what's that, 7, 8
You have a baby
months?
there now?
7 months.
We do.
Yeah, he's 7 months old, so he's like over 100 pounds now.
Yeah.
But he's still a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still mess you up, though, probably.
Oh yeah, he could. Like if he really wanted to. Again, he's at
He's got
least
some sharp teeth.
been around people, but yeah, if he were to like chomp you or something, it would
Yeah.
Good.
not feel good at all.
Are there any other pregnant animals at Tanganika right now?
There's always something.
Yes.
There's always something.
Yeah,
We potentially have a clouded leopard pregnant, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We'll find
Got
out.
some little
Yeah.
kittens.
hoofstock. There's always something.
Yeah.
A giraffe or a zebra or something's always on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
I don't know specifically.
we are a breeding facility, so like it's not just a zoo that you go through as well. That like once every 4 years they might have a baby. It's like
Yeah.
we actually are breeding deliberately, pairing genetics.
You're encouraging them.
Yeah, and trying to get everything situated so that way they can breed successfully. So that way those babies essentially can go to other facilities.
So you guys sell those off then? If you're since you're a breeding facility, you'll sell the babies off instead
Yeah.
of just keeping them all in the zoo.
Yeah, I mean,
Sell
it's
and
not
trade.
sell. Yeah,
Sell
it's
and
like a
trade.
trade. There's loans. There's transfer. Like there's all kinds of. There's a lot of paperwork and things that go into it of what the. I don't know what is actually going to happen.
based
with
on
them.
like genetics and stuff. Like we've had a lot of our same penguins here for quite a while, so we just did a trade with the Long Island Aquarium. We sent them 2 of our penguins. They sent us 2 of theirs so that we
Right.
can kind of mix up the gene pool a little bit more. So,
That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
there's a lot of all zoos kind of talk to each other and be like, okay, well, we need these ones to go over here and kind of switch everything around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to work for a Clydesdale farm that would breed like that,
Oh, nice.
and we would sell some off. We actually sold one to Budweiser one time.
Nice.
Back when I worked there.
Yeah.
It's actually one of my first jobs. I was like 14, and we had to facilitate the acts.
Yeah.
That was eye-opening for me that summer. That was-
Yeah, I bet.
I'm glad we.
I
don't
was
have
the
to do
guider.
that.
Yeah, I would guide it in.
Sounds like fun.
No, that is a job, right?
It was a job. Yeah,
Yeah.
I still get shit for it to this day from family members.
I mean, come on.
Yes.
helping out.
Someone's got to do
Yeah,
it.
you're just
Yeah.
looking out.
Yeah, I'm just
Come
looking
on.
out for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thankfully, most of our animals are born naturally.
Yeah.
Do some
Yeah.
artificial insemination if needed, but
Yeah.
most of it is the natural way.
Yeah.
And it's really cool, actually. Like, even getting to see all the genetics lined up. Like, we've been very successful with cheetah breeding. And it is cool just seeing where the genetics are, what genetics we want to pair, what's more valuable. I don't want to say valuable, but it is. What's more valuable because we have less of those genetics and which one isn't. So it's a whole cool program and like breeding that goes into it before. It's not just like, I think people sometimes think it's willy-nilly of just put those two together.
Put them in there and let them go.
Something happen. And like when I describe it to guests, I'm always like, think of online dating essentially, right? You're looking, you're swiping, you're like, oh, this one's cute, swipe right, whatever. Right. And then you meet and it just is awful, right? You're like, this person sucks. I thought you were going to be amazing. You looked so cute in your photo. We are not connecting at all. So like you always have to think of that.
You don't look like the photo.
Yeah, you have to think of that with the animals. If we're looking at it and it's like, not us, but you know, looking at it and it's like, oh, these genetics, these are perfect. Like this is exactly the pair we want.
Yep.
And then you howdy them so we don't just throw them together. They get to meet each other through safety, through mesh at first. And it's like, oh, they don't like each other at all.
There's no rapey stuff going on.
Like, this is not going to happen. So we need to figure out what the next best step is. And sometimes it works out great. Sometimes they actually love each other from the get-go. Or
that's pretty cool.
Like each other enough, I
So you're actually letting them, like, bond a little bit and get. You're not just throwing them in there and letting.
No. Yeah, no, correct. We want to try and do it as safe as possible. So it is a process. Let me tell you, being a part of it is
that's pretty cool.
It can be exhausting and frustrating sometimes, but it is really cool and fulfilling when it all goes smoothly and works out well. And you're like, hell yeah, way to go, you guys.
Yeah. And sometimes you throw them together probably, and old Bob is like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
I don't like her.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Another one.
100%.
Can I get another option here? Tell me something.
Why?
Swipe left.
Yeah.
Swipe left.
Or the male will just try, and the female's just like laying down, like, no, you can.
You ain't getting it.
You can go now. It's like, sorry.
Well, that's nice of you guys not to let him just have his way.
No.
Right. Yeah, I was always wondering about that. I mean, the genetics are a huge factor. I know from working on that horse farm because we would have to collect samples, and that would sell for a shit ton of money to other breeders across the states that wanted that Clydesdale's genetics or whatever. You know, a lot that goes into it. Whole business behind it. Yeah. And then, you know, their show horses, obviously. I'm sure it's similar in your guys' facility.
Oh, yeah. And I did dog showing for a little while.
Did you?
It's a whole world out there.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. I had a Dalmatian that I would show, and we went to one show, and he didn't win. Like, he had everything perfect. They loved everything about him, but he had 2 black testicles, I believe, and the one that won had a black testicle and a white testicle. Like, really? Like, what? Why is this important?
What?
Yeah, that's definitely a weird world.
Wow, yeah.
You have done all kinds of weird shit.
I have.
Yeah.
Do you guys have to do, like, surgeries and neuters and animals and stuff at Tanganika?
We have a vet that we work with, so we don't personally do it. I mean, every once in a while we're going to have to help out with some medical stuff, but yeah, we're not doing any major surgeries or anything. We're not qualified for that. No.
I had a vet on here one time. Actually, it was my first episode ever.
Oh, shit.
And I asked her, I was like, you chop a lot of balls off? And she was like, actually, that's my favorite surgery. I was like, what?
Yes.
She's like, I love it. I'm like, you guys are different.
Did you just slowly scoot away?
I'd like to keep my...
Yeah, let's spread these booths out a little more. Yeah. Nah, I'm not medical at all. Like, that stuff, I'm like, ugh. You know, anything really. Even small surgeries on myself. I'm like, oh, God, don't make me think about that.
Yeah, same.
I'm more
I can deal with it with other people, but not on
myself.
me.
I'm a lot worse. Whereas, like, animals and stuff, like, we've had to watch quite a few things. Like, I've been in the field for, like, 12 years, so I've seen quite a few surgeries or medical things that we've had to do. And
you're just used to it now?
It doesn't bother me on other people, even, or animals. Not that I've seen, like, crazy surgery on people, but other animals doesn't. But, like, if I'm bleeding a bunch, like if I had a head injury, I'm like, I might throw up. Like, I don't know.
You start thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's like the dentist, you know. If I think about what they're doing.
Yeah. It gets in your brain. It's all mental.
It's torture. Yeah. Torture. Give me the gas. Give me the nitrous.
Yeah, just knock me out, please. Just knock me out.
Speaking of that, I was going to ask you guys that between people and animals, do you like animals more than people?
100%.
Of course.
Yeah, I figured so.
Most people that are in this field got into this field because we like animals and we didn't want to work with people. But again,
Coming from the person that
works with people all the
guests
time.
all the
Yeah. Oh, this field is a lot of guest interaction and educating the public. So you get into it thinking, oh, I'm just going to work with animals all day and not have to deal with people. And then you're like, okay, well, actually, a lot of this job is
Still
dealing
people,
with people.
still humans.
Yep.
They still
Yep.
suck.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you definitely don't realize that at all at first. Especially, I think it was less people oriented when we first started.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just you're doing stuff with the animals. You might talk to people every now and again, but like you were behind the scenes. You just focused on the animals. You didn't talk to guests. But that's as I've gotten older, I enjoy it more. And one thing I've loved about Tanganika is it focuses a lot more on people and like not just people interaction with the guests, but like us that work there. Like we get special training on how to talk to people. Even,
Really?
not just special training on how to work with animals because you're already getting all that. So we go through, it's called crew training, and it literally is like setting you up for different styles or how to communicate most effectively with the guests or how to help them the most. Like, so it's like this whole setup training that sometimes you're like, oh my God, it's going to be so long. I don't want to do this. But in the end, you're smiling when you come out of it and you're like, that was actually some of the best training ever. Mm-hmm. And like our internship is not like any other internship at zoos or animal facilities because a lot of them are an internship of you're following keepers around, you're cleaning an animal area, you might get to watch some training, or maybe you are learning how to do some training in animal things, whereas ours is very guest-based. So, like, they are at a stand helping guests feed the giraffe or helping them learn how to pet a kangaroo properly or and very guest-focused, which I think is great because it's setting the interns up for way more success, not only in the field, but, like, not every intern that works at a facility wants to actually be a zookeeper. They're like, I don't know what I want to do.
Right.
This seems cool. I'm going
Right.
to try it out. So if you do this internship, you actually learn how to just communicate more effectively. So if you don't want to be a zookeeper, you still take all of this knowledge on how to communicate with people in
It's
general.
still going to help you no matter what you're doing.
Absolutely.
If you have to
It's
give a
gonna help you at
presentation
any
or
job.
anything. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Like,
That's pretty neat.
when you think about it, it's annoying at times because, right, like Kiana said, all of us were like, forget people. I want to work with animals. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to look at them. I don't want to deal with them.
Yeah.
People are the worst.
People
and then
suck.
it's like, okay, my job is people. Like, my job is all people. And not those people, though. Like, Kiana's job is
Zookeeper people.
guests face forward. My job is the zookeepers. Like, I am taking care of the keepers. I am helping them. And it's not as much animal-based as it was 12 years ago when I started. So.
At least you're with animal people, though.
Yes.
Like, that's who you're mainly talking to. You're dealing with actual visitors, right?
Yeah, I get all the fun ones.
So what does your daily life actually look like? I'll start with you, and I want to ask you the same question.
Yeah, mine is 2 days aren't the same. Like, it's always different. So I just go experiences back to back basically all day long. So I might do an otter meet and greet, a hippo behind the scenes tour, a lemur meet and greet, an owl monkey meet and greet, a penguin swim. I might do an offsite where I drive to Kansas City and take a sloth to a classroom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've taken a penguin to an ice skating rink in Oklahoma. So
That's cool.
It really is no 2 days the same. I might do a wedding or a corporate event that evening, so my schedule's all over the place too. Like, some days I come in at 11 o'clock and work till 9 o'clock. So it's kind of all over the place, and I never really know what I'm going to be doing that day.
So you're kind of trained with all of these different animals then? If somebody requests something, then you're kind of the go-to person for that?
Yeah, so we have a whole team of us that are cross-trained on certain animals.
Yeah.
I've been at Tanganika for 6.5 years now, so I'm cross-trained on quite a few of the animals. So I can work with some of the cats, I can work the otters, I can do the penguins, I can do quite a few of them. So yeah, my day's very varied.
That's pretty cool.
It is. I really like it. I like to be busy, and I like chaos. I like doing different things. I don't like doing the same thing every day, so I really like it. It fits me well.
Yeah. You're not one of those people that just wants to expect what they're going to be doing every time they get to the office.
Right.
So,
yeah, I'm definitely not an office person, not a 9 to 5 normal job kind of person. So I like the variety. Like, I like getting to sleep in until 9 o'clock some days, and I don't mind working late. Where most people, I feel like most zookeepers are more like, no, I want a set schedule. I want to know when I'm getting off work, where I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So it works well for me.
So if school calls Tanganika and says, "Do you think we can get a sloth in the classroom today?"
Yeah.
You're going to be doing that probably.
Well, you usually have to book it in advance because we do have things fill up pretty quickly. But
Yeah.
if they call us a couple weeks out, we can definitely make it happen.
Hell yeah! I'm gonna have to remember that.
Yeah.
For my future parties.
Yeah, we do birthday parties. We do all kinds of stuff.
Do you guys have any bears?
We do not.
I wish.
No. I
Yeah,
love
that's-
bears.
I
Ben's
can't
plug.
stress this enough.
Yeah.
We need sun bears.
Sun bears.
Yes. I've been just trying for
been
sun bears.
trying and
Matt,
trying.
Lindley, get us some sun bears.
I want a big old grizzly to pet like a dog. You know?
No, you don't.
No, yeah, no.
The Russians.
He goes, no.
Have you seen those Russian videos for those
have.
Russian guys that have those bears? They look like
A lot
dogs,
of
right?
people get murdered by those bears.
They're
It
so
might
cool,
not
though.
be today. It might not be tomorrow.
But have you seen the sun bear?
Yeah. Have you? Okay, look up a sun
I'm
bear.
looking up a sun bear.
They are the coolest bears.
Sun bear.
And I stand by that.
They are pretty cute.
It's a human in
Oh.
a bear suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks kind of like a black bear, but I don't know if my camera can even.
They've got that crest on their chest. They're like my size. They're small. They're the smallest bear. They don't
Are they really?
swim.
That does look like a guy just chilling in a suit,
Uh-huh.
doesn't it?
Yes. They're amazing.
And they're not going to hurt you, so you can just pet them and stuff.
I mean, they still can hurt you. Like, I'm not going in there and just going to cuddle with it. But, like,
Whoa.
they have...
How is that not a person in a suit?
I know! They're amazing.
Yeah, there's some videos out there on the internet, and you're like, no, that's
Yeah,
definitely
that's
a person.
human. Yeah.
Okay,
It's not.
but do you think that bears, if they're raised from cubs, are more loyal than a cat? Or would you say that they're probably the same? Like they can still turn on you in an
They're
instant?
still super unpredictable.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be pretty close still. These are still wild animals no matter what.
Because
So-
you specifically working with cats, is there ever a time where you can fully trust a cat if it's been raised from the time it was born? Or do they still have the potential to just turn?
I will always trust a cat to be a cat.
Yeah.
Like that's what I can say. Yes, I'm going to trust that cat 100%. I'm going to trust it to be a cat.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to read its behavior. And yes, sometimes there are cats or animals even that you can go in with longer than you would expect. That depends on the individual though. So like you can't put a blanket statement out of like bears would be really nice to grow up with and be fine, or cats would be really friendly and be fine.
Right.
It's all species dependent, individual dependent, being able to read their body language and trusting your gut, I think, is a big thing that I say. Like,
Yeah.
if for some reason something feels off, you feel off that day, don't do it. I don't care what the reason is.
Yeah,
Something
that's a
feels
big
off,
one.
don't do it. Doesn't matter. It could have been fine, sure, but just there's no point in risking that.
Right.
So
Trust
like,
your instincts.
we do free contact with some of our cheetahs. Cheetahs are cheetahs, whatever. We don't
more
need
like
to go
dogs.
into cheetahs. Yeah, they're dogs basically.
Are they?
But there still are aggressive cheetahs. Like there still are cheetahs out there that don't want us with them. And you still have to pay attention to that cheetah and read their body language because they could just be in a mood. They might not want you around them.
Right.
And that's fine. We're not going to force that because this is their home. We want them to feel comfortable and safe. So if they're like, get away from me, it's like, you got it. I'm out. Like,
They might not like you as much
whatever
as
you want.
the other zookeepers or
Yeah.
visitors.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Humans
guests
are like
don't
that too,
mind,
you know?
but- Yeah.
Sure.
My mom's in the room, it's all cool. Mother-in-law walks in, it's like,
Yeah. It's like, God. Yeah. Everything changes.
Yeah.
Whole dynamic changes. Yeah. 100%. So, yeah, like, I don't think there can be that blanket statement. They are still always wild animals. You still have to always pay attention. There is never a time, in my opinion, that it would just be like, no, you're completely safe with that grizzly bear. You're completely
Right.
safe with that full-grown
Right.
cat because they're still wild animals, like,
Yeah.
no matter what. And it's not a 10-pound domestic cat wild animal. Like, it's still, and even then, like, I wouldn't trust a black-footed cat, and those things are like 6 pounds.
yeah, I know it's stupid, and I know it's not the smartest thing or the best thing for the animal, like those drug lords or billionaires that buy a bear or a cat, but man, it would be so cool just to have a big grizzly bear like, Jake, come here, bud.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it.
You
Yeah,
know?
don't get me wrong. Like, ego is a huge thing. I think carnivore keepers are most known for their ego. Like, it is 100% like, quarantine, those guys are fucking assholes. They
Yeah.
just think they're the coolest thing ever. Like, and don't get me wrong, when I was 23, I was like, I am the coolest. Like, I am training a tiger right now.
Yeah.
They're doing what I'm asking.
The tiger
amazing.
listens to me.
Yeah, and it's like, as I've gotten older and matured a bit, I get it. In theory, like, it's cool. That seems cool.
Right.
But that's not smart at all. Like, you are still not being smart as a whole and thinking everything through and all that jazz. And I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that there's a lot that needs to go into it and a lot of things that needs to be thought through.
Yeah.
And we have to remember it's not about us.
Yep.
My job is not about me. Like, and it shouldn't be. And
Right.
yeah, when you're young, sometimes that's how you start because we have cool jobs. Like, we get to do some cool stuff with
It's
animals.
badass.
So, like, it's cool to be able to brag about sometimes. And that was just the way it was, especially, like I said, especially when I was young. But, like, now it's more of the people, and it's more of educating, and it's more of my team, like the keepers, not even just my specific team, just the keepers, and helping them find what they're looking for and see it also that way as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And just making sure the animal has a good life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That it's treated right and that's the best possible outcome.
Yeah, have the shit just spoiled out of them. They're so spoiled.
As they should be.
Yeah. No, they
know?
definitely should be. Like,
Because, I mean, if you abuse an animal or mistreat an animal, in my mind, you're just one of the worst human beings out there.
100%.
For sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, almost worse sometimes than people that kill human beings, you know? Like, if you...
I don't want to agree, but yes.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like, I know it's not morally right to say that, but, like, sometimes a serial killer gets a pass in my book compared to somebody that beats a puppy up.
Right.
Or something, you know?
Yeah. I mean, normally
Which is kinda weird,
they do
but-
that first, and it leads to that. So, like,
Yeah.
That's true.
you're showing a sign right there.
That's true.
Get them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like a dog. Like, a dog wants nothing but your love and compassion. It just waits there for you. How could somebody ever mistreat that? Is beyond me. You know?
That's why cats are better.
You're definitely cats over dogs?
Oh,
Hell
wait.
yeah.
100% cats
Yeah.
over dogs. I have a
Total cat
dog. Don't
person.
get me wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I love animals. But cats are the best.
But whenever he sees a cat, he turns it into the little pss, pss, pss.
Yeah, you have to. You have to go pet that. If you have a cat and I come over, you don't exist anymore. I am doing everything in my power to win over your cat.
Is that right?
essentially. Like, I just want to hang out with this cat.
So
And,
I got
like,
a question for you then. With the declawing,
yes.
are you for or against that, or is there a
Against.
right or wrong answer?
There's a right answer.
Yeah.
You should never declaw.
Never declaw?
It's basically cutting off the first digit
That's what I've
of
heard.
their toes.
Yeah.
And it can actually cause them pain for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So you have to get like special litter even. Like it's not good for them as
Yeah.
a whole. They can get deformities and get arthritis. Like there's a lot that can go wrong just by declawing your cat. Whereas you can train them to not do that. So,
Right.
Or if you really don't want to train them, they got those little caps now
Yep.
that you can
Stick 'em on
put
there.
Oh,
on,
yeah?
Little
put on the
plastic
claws.
pieces.
So
It
that
seems like
way they
such a
don't-
mean thing. Like, I'm going to force you to live inside like you're not supposed to, and then when you scratch my stuff, I'm going to cut your fingers off.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Humans.
No, but also like cats, if you need someone to learn consent, get them a cat.
Yeah?
And I think that's why I also love them so much.
Yeah?
You have to have consent.
Gotta win him over.
A dog is gonna love you almost no
The dog's
matter
gonna
what.
sit there.
Yeah, a dog is like you hit me and I still
You're
love
home!
you. Yeah, this is the best day ever. Whereas a cat's just giving you the middle finger and it's like you have to earn this. Like, and on my time. Once you get comfortable, I'm gonna sit on your chest and don't touch me. So yeah,
Tell me why I should love you.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Cats are weird.
Yes,
Cats are serial killers.
yes,
Yes.
You know?
yes, they are.
Does anybody have a pet otter?
No pet otters.
No pet otters?
No.
It's not a good thing?
Not a good idea.
I mean,
That would be
does
crazy.
anybody? Yes, somewhere in the
Yeah,
world.
Oh.
do people do it? Yes, there's all kinds of videos on the internet
Not a
of
good
people
idea,
having
though?
otters. No, I can't imagine the chaos that would be. Like, they're just little spazzes all the time.
Yeah.
Like, they're so stinky. Again, it's strong teeth. So, and they bite for no reason. Like, I'm happy, I'm gonna bite you. Let's play. Let's fight. I'm upset. I bite you. Anything is, I bite you. I show you how these teeth work.
So you do have to be cautious even when you're messing with an otter, like holding it and stuff?
Oh yeah, I don't hold the
You don't hold
otters.
'em?
Mm-mm. No, I don't pick them up at all. We do train with them free contact, so we go in with them and work them, but they're trained to do behaviors. So I'm constantly asking them something and having them do something so that they're not getting bored and trying to figure out what they can do on their own, because that's when they get mischievous.
They're like little spazzy children, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Just always trying to mess with stuff.
Always got to do something. Yeah. I've literally worked with these boys since the day they were born. Like, they've been in my life for a long time, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them in my house.
You wouldn't want them in your pool?
Absolutely
Jumping
not.
in and out?
No, they're crazy little creatures.
You wouldn't have a house anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't think you could
It
swim
would
with
be
them
destroyed.
if you jumped in that pool with them?
If we worked on it, yeah, absolutely. We're actually hoping to do otter swims at Tanganika in the
that'd be
next
cool.
couple years. It's on our list of things that we're going to try and do, but it's going to be a lot of work to get them there. So, no, at this point, would I go jump in the water with them? No. They would jump on my head and bite my ear.
They
and
would love to nibble your toes.
They absolutely would. They'd be like, oh, I haven't got to play with these before. So, no, would not trust them right now. But with some training, you could do it. But I wouldn't want that 24/7. Like I said, it's when we're working them, we're asking them things. They're getting rewarded for it. It's a job to them. It's something
Yep.
they're doing. It's not just a free-for-all. Like, I wouldn't just throw them in my pool and go swimming with them for fun.
Seems like it'd be fun, though.
For a minute, maybe.
The
Until you
otters-
lost a toe.
the otters would have fun.
Yeah,
Otters
they
have
would have
fun.
a blast.
So they grab your big toe, and
Yeah.
I've seen videos of them with like fish. Just,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be your little toe. Your ear.
yeah. So, Ben, I want to ask you, what's your daily life like as the carnivore specialist?
Oh, man.
Is it the same every day, or does it vary?
No,
Or?
yeah, no. It's like similar-esque. So mine's going to be a lot more similar than Kiana's is. So like we have a set schedule for the most part. Obviously things change, but for the most part I'm working like 7:30 to 4:30 or 8 to 5. But what I do every day is not just going to be like the same as keepers, where they have a set routine.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have different routines in our area. We have a large area, small area, and a kitchen area. And that's your routine for the day. And then you do projects, training, all that jazz. Whereas for me, I have to do more meetings. I'm doing more stuff with the keepers. I'm training keepers in new areas. I'm training animals. So it depends on the day.
Yeah.
And then some days I am doing a routine as well. So some days I get to just be a keeper. Some days I am keeper in charge for the day, which means I'm taking like all the calls from all of the care staff. So every single department, if they need something, I'm the one that answers that, but thankfully I don't have to do that every day. Jess can have that one.
So you keep saying the term keeper. So when I say zookeeper, is that an umbrella term for everybody at the zoo, or is it just a certain category of workers there?
Yeah, it's going to be like the category of the care department, and
People
then
that really like take care of the animals.
yeah, the ones that are like feeding,
Ones that are feeding them every
cleaning,
day and bathing
training
them, or-
the animals as a whole. And then AES is also care, so Kiana's job, and I'd still call you a keeper. I don't know is that okay?
Yes. That's
Okay. Because I still call them keepers as well, because
Yeah.
they are still adding to the welfare of the animals.
Yeah.
They are still training them. They are still helping us sometimes cleaning or making diets. So they are still part of that umbrella as well. So
So
depending
it
on
kind
the
of covers
facility,
everybody, but
yeah. But then we also
not
have
totally.
like front of house, splash park. So there's that's all the animal people. It's got an umbrella essentially, and
Yeah.
then higher up.
It is a broad term. When somebody hears like zookeeper, I want to be a zookeeper. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously there's tons of different things you could do under that umbrella term, but
Yes. Yeah.
a lot of people would wonder, like, do I need to go to school for that? Do I need training for that? But I guess, Tanganika does offer a good program, like you were saying. So what would you recommend to a kid that says, I want to be a zookeeper?
I recommend that, they do well in school at least.
Yeah.
Not saying you got to be the smartest kid, but do well in school. Focus on like biology, any of the animal stuff. And then it really kind of depends on the individual as well. So like, I am not a school person.
Me neither.
Like, yeah, like I was not that person that's going to be studying and stuff. I was like, I'll read it right before, and as long as I get a C, I'm okay. Like,
Yep.
and I did.
You and I are
I
the same.
graduated just fine, and I ended up in the same place as Kiana, who did all her schooling.
I love school.
Yeah. Right, so like that's going to depend on if you are really into school and love learning that way. I would say go to school, get a degree in whatever interests you the most. Honestly, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a biology or zoology degree. that would help, but like you don't
marine
necessarily
biology.
have to. Yeah, you can do marine biology even.
Moved to Kansas.
Yeah, and then move to Kansas, where all the marine mammals are.
Yeah, marine biologist in Kansas.
Yeah. But otherwise, like me, I was more of like a hard worker. Like I was raised if you work hard and you get that done kind of thing. And so
Right.
it was in my mentality, I was like, I don't think I'll be able to afford school right now. So like, how can I just show off that I want this? How can I just show that I'll do anything to get this job kind of thing? So yeah, it's going to depend on the individual for sure on how they're doing. But like you could definitely just do some internships or volunteering. And if you've got like a great positive attitude, common sense, and a good work ethic, you've got a good chance still of getting hired, because whatever facility you're at, then they're essentially training you already to their style.
Mm-hmm.
And if they then like your style, then they'll usually hire you on because you fit in well.
And they're probably all different.
Yes.
From facility to facility.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely. Sometimes it depends just on the.
Some of the bigger
This-
zoos do require a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
So they are going to require that. But like I said earlier,
Or
in this
10
field,
years of experience, it
Yeah.
goes to, I think. A
Yeah.
4-year degree or 10 years of experience.
Yeah.
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 but this field is definitely a lot more of like hands-on rather than what you've learned in a book. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
very much like what have you done and what have you experienced already, and can you work hard? Are you okay with staying the long nights when an animal is having birth? Like it's
Mhm.
not a normal job. So are you one that wants to clock out at 5 and be done? Or are you able to stick around and put in
Like
some
the
extra
flexibility,
hours?
kind of like you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And God, what was I gonna say? Just thinking of something.
And be ready to not be rich. That's
Yes.
what I
And be ready to
also-
not be rich?
That's what I
Yeah.
also tell people when they ask
Yeah.
about zookeeping.
Not a field where you're going to make a whole lot of money.
It's truly just a job of passion.
It is. But
Working with animals.
We like our jobs where there's a lot of people that are accountants and yeah, they make a hell of a lot more money than I do, but
Mm-hmm.
They're miserable.
don't know that they like sitting at their job every day. They look forward to the weekend where
They're waiting for age
I look
62.
forward to going to
and-
work.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, what am I going to get to do today?
Yeah. That would be really cool. I mean, I think I would enjoy it. I've always said I like going to the zoo.
Yeah.
I still do.
As you should. Yeah.
Yeah. God, what was I going to ask? There was something I was thinking of with the. I don't know. I can't remember
Go
now.
back to
Yeah.
It was
It'll
something
come
with the
back to
birthing and staying late. I can't really remember now, though.
If we have to do it a lot. If we have to stay late a lot.
Well, I'm sure you do.
That was our mental
Don't
health.
you?
I'm trying to go.
How's our mental? It
What do you think the
depends,
worst
like-
part of being working at the zoo is?
Animal loss.
Really?
Yeah, that would be mine too. That's always going to be the hardest part of the job because you care for these animals so much and pour so much of your life into it, and obviously you want them to live for forever, and that's just not the case. Some of the animals, like the birds, might outlive us, but most
The
of
ones that
them,
don't care about you.
Yeah,
The ones
Yeah.
we don't care about.
yeah, the ones that,
The ones that are assholes.
Yeah.
but most of them don't have as long a lifespans as us, so we know that it's going to happen. We prepare ourselves for it to happen, but it still sucks every single time.
Do you think it's worse to have to put an animal down or for an animal just to die unexpectedly on you?
Depends on the situation.
And-
Like, I don't want an animal to suffer. If I can make that choice, like I know you're in pain and I know this is the best choice for you, I'd much rather make that choice and
Yeah.
let them go smoothly than drag them on for 3 more days just to have them die anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, just like people, like all of us would love to pass away in our sleep peacefully, right? But it's not always the case.
Right.
Yeah, I think I said to my keepers before when we had one that we did have to euthanize just due to health issues, and it was like this is one of the hardest part because this is the biggest privilege of our job, but it's also the hardest
Yeah.
part of our job because we know these animals better than anything else. Like these animals are a lot of our families. Like holidays, we're with these animals. We're not with our own families.
You're with them more than your families.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're with them
Neither
a
of us
lot more than our families.
live near our families.
No, yeah, I see these animals way more than I will ever see my families. Like that's just the way it is, and that's a choice. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but for the most part, you're seeing those animals more than your family, unless they live close to you, like unless you
Yep.
live in the same state, kind of thing. So it's definitely the hardest part of it is, and no matter what, it's hard for the keepers or for the staff that work there, whether it is it's coming or whether it's a surprise. It's just devastating, and it's hard to explain because, yes, they're not our animals, but they are the animals that we care for every single day. So, like, imagine losing your dog or your cat or, like, that.
Right, same thing.
Those are the feelings that we're still feeling, but we're feeling it a lot more often because of so many, like, the amount of animals we're working with or have worked with. So it definitely can take its toll on you. And
in a lot of ways, you're with these animals more than people are their pets sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it hurts worse. I have an old dog right now. He's 12. He's a Labrador. And he's definitely slowing down. And I don't know, part of me wishes that he would just kind of pass away overnight. But then, you know, I don't want to wait around for that if you can't, you know what I'm saying? So
I have a 17-year-old dog right now, and it's the dog that I never wanted, never planned on adopting, but I swear he's going to outlive them all.
Yeah, of course.
Anytime, like, I just went back home last week, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be the last time you guys see Joey. And I'm like, I've been saying that for at least 2 years now.
That's kind of how humans work, too. The crooked politicians and billionaires live to be 100.
It's
and
like, I'm never done.
The good people live to be 60.
Yeah, I also have an old cat right now. She's 16 and
16.
Renal failure, like, it's coming, and you know it's coming, and I'm like, oh, just God, like, this is the hardest part because I know it's coming, but, like, I'm gonna keep helping you as long as I can until you're suffering. But I'd rather, like, a part of me almost wishes it was just like rip off the Band-Aid kind of thing.
Right,
but also I'm like, I want to spend as much time with you as possible. Like, just give me another month. Just give me another month kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the hardest parts about having pets or working with animals is when the end is there, it's like, oh, man, that sucks. Yeah.
It's not the fun part.
Nope. We all wish we could just die away in our sleep, right?
Yes.
Is it the same way with cats as it is dogs, where if the bigger it is, the less of a lifespan it has? Because that's kind of how, like, you know, big dogs have a lower lifespan than a small dog.
No, they're pretty
Or is it
pretty
pretty much the same?
Yeah, they're all pretty close. So most of the cats could, like, in human care, live to be 20-ish. Otherwise, like, their teens is going to be about where it's at. Whereas if they were, like, out in their natural environment, they're usually lucky to make it to double digits. So it basically doubles their lifespan, which is cool. But yeah, no, I think it's pretty dang close. Like, cheetahs are the weird exception of the, like, size-wise cat. They are lucky to live to, like, 11. But under human care, I've seen them in their teens for sure.
Cheetahs sound pretty cool. You think I could have a pet cheetah?
Cheetahs are not cool.
They're Ben's favorite.
No.
You said they were like dogs.
Don't get me wrong. They're one of the best animals because they're a cat technically, but they're the worst cat. And I hope Cassie doesn't watch this. One of my keepers, Cassie's in love with cheetahs, and I'm always just talking shit on them. And she's like, "Don't be mean." I'm like, it's not their fault, but they're.
So you still love them because they're cats.
Yes, I still love them because they're cats, absolutely. But
kind of like pizza.
They're like a dog.
Shitty pizza is still better than other food.
Pizza. Yeah, absolutely. But they're more like a dog than a cat.
And that's why you don't like them.
That's why I don't like them as much. Yeah.
You want to be guessing. You don't want that animal to love you and be waiting for you every day.
No, I don't want the easy love. I want to work for this.
You want to earn that respect.
I want the jaguar that's like, I'm going to murder you one day. And you're like, oh, game on.
What do you think the most murderous cat is?
Jaguar.
Jaguar?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you guys have any panthers?
I mean, technically a panther is not a specific cat. So panther is like the broad
umbrella term.
Yeah, over like the bigger cats, or like a black panther, right? It could be a leopard, it could be a jaguar.
Is that right?
Kind of leopard, yeah. So yes, we do.
Here's your stupid visitor of the day.
No,
doesn't know that.
That's not stupid though. Like that's
very
understandable. A lot of
question.
people call them panthers. Yeah. So we have an Amur leopard, and she is melanistic, which means she's black.
Are there black tigers?
No, like not black. I think there have been some that like genetically have been darker, but it's not like all black. Whereas Mystique, our Amur leopard, is like she still has her rosettes or her spots on her side. Yeah. But you can only see it when like she hits the sunlight. They're like this red hue.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So she looks all black. Which is pretty sweet.
If you shave one of those cats, is that pattern on their skin?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah. So like a tiger, that's called true stripes. So if you shave a tiger, they still have stripes on their skin. Whereas if you shave a zebra, It does not.
Really?
It just looks like a.
Is a zebra black or white?
Dark brown or black.
Really?
Horse. Yeah.
So the zebra is the Slim Shady.
Yeah.
Black on the inside, white on the outside.
I've
Like
never
it.
heard
That's
that.
how I'm going to explain it to
Yeah.
people from now on.
I'm gonna start saying that now. Well, zebras.
Next baby, we'll have to name him.
Yeah.
Well, we already have a
Marshall.
We already have a
Yeah.
Slim.
I already-
Marshall.
There we go.
Yeah, we can do Marshall. 'Cause
Yeah.
I already named one of our cheetahs Slim Shady after
Did you?
Slim because he was like short hair and blonde
Yeah.
when he was a cub, and I was like, so we started naming that litter after rappers. So yeah, we got
Nice.
Slim Shady.
There you go.
Yeah, we still have a Missy Elliott and a Nelly.
Missy Elliott.
Yeah,
Nelly put a Band-Aid on his face.
yeah, I know we should.
Well, I guess, do you have any misconceptions you want to clear up to people about being a zookeeper or working with animals or anything like that? Anything that people think that you do that you don't? Or
I mean, the big one is people think we cuddle animals all day, right?
Mhm.
Think we're hanging out with grizzly bears and petting the cats, and yeah, we might get to like reach through and give them some scratches, but we're not just going in and cuddling with the tigers.
Yeah.
Even the otters, like we're working them as a job. It's a relationship that we've built. We're not just going in and cuddling animals all day. So I think that's a big one. Is people are like, oh, you just get to play with animals.
yeah.
You know, it's a lot of hard work that goes into being able to have that relationship, to be able to even pick up a penguin. Like those little things
Yeah.
will bite you if you just go over and you don't know what you're doing. So you have to spend a lot of time building that bond and allowing them to let you pick them up.
So
yeah.
you work harder than people think you do.
Absolutely, yeah. And especially the frontline zookeepers that are, doing the day-to-day care of the animals. They're shoveling shit all day and feeding the animals, and we're working in whatever conditions it is outside, whether it's snowing
True.
or 120 degrees and humid. Like, we're outside with the animals and making sure that they're doing the best before we take care of ourselves sometimes, like making sure that they have ice blocks when it's hot or that they're inside when it's cold out, and checking on them first. So it's definitely a lot harder of a job than people realize. They just think, oh, you get to play with animals all day. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not in an air-conditioned office all day long.
Yeah.
Are the animals more active at nighttime usually?
Yeah, like usually when it's cooler out, pretty much. So dusk, dawn, especially when we're coming in. Like they know when we're arriving and it's
Yeah.
time to eat or it's time to train or whatever. Like they pick up on that. They can tell time without watches. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We probably used to be able to do that too before
Yeah,
we
probably.
became stupid and
Before
stared
we-
at screen
yeah,
all
yeah,
day.
before we now have phones
Yeah.
and watches and all that.
And depends on the animal.
And then
Like,
the
some of them are
animal,
nocturnal, so
yeah.
they sleep all day, and then they're like, yeah, time to wake up. And
Yeah, I was
some of them
gonna
are
say-
like, no, it's time to go to bed right about now.
A lot of them seem like they're real lazy during the daytime,
Oh,
just
100%.
lounging around.
Yeah. Most animals are going to be, if it's hot out, like, this is a good time to nap, and I'll do things when it's a little bit cooler.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah. And then you got our snow leopards that all summer are going to be pretty much sleeping. But then come winter when we're freezing and it's negative 20 out, they're like,
They're just up and about. Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, just eat your food. It's going to freeze.
I heard a good life hack one time from somebody. They told me that if you dress like the zookeepers, the animals will approach you more. Is that true?
I would say
Is
yes
that just a
and
stupid
no.
hack that somebody made on Twitter?
I mean, like, the otters
It
know
depends.
my key jingle
Yeah.
whenever I come in. You'll definitely, like, you can see I'm watching, like, okay, I know who that person is. I know who that person is. But they also know who we are when we come in normal clothes, too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think it
it's-
depends on the animal,
yeah.
on how smart they are,
Yeah.
to be honest. Because, yeah, a lot of us know
They can sense
our
it.
voice. They know who we are by
Right.
the individual. Like, they'll know which keeper is which trainer is which. But I also think some also just see the khaki shirt because we look
Like,
so
oh, do you
good
have
in
food?
Those are the
khaki.
giraffes.
Yeah. I was
like,
gonna say,
"Ooh."
I feel like the giraffes would just be
have
like,
food?
"Cool, you got a shirt on. You won't feed me." Like, yeah. So I think
I
it
see the
definitely
color.
depends on the animal. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess I just want to ask if you have any advice. I think we kind of covered that, though, already a little bit. Misconceptions. People don't think you work as hard as you do.
Yeah, I think another one would be people don't love zoos because they think we take animals from the wild.
Yes.
That is nowhere near true. Like, don't get me wrong, go back to the 70s. that was
happened.
happening.
It happened.
Yeah, like it's one of those things of things did happen, but the way that zoos have progressed and are totally different, like zoos as a whole have literally brought animals back from going extinct. Like they have saved species of animals time and time again, and that's our job. So like when it comes down to it, yes, we would love for our job to not have to be a thing and for animals to just be thriving, but humans are the reason that these animals are not. And so we need these facilities to be able to educate, to be able to have a backup plan. Like, let's be honest, like there might be an animal in the wild, there already has been, but animals in the wild that completely go extinct and we only have them in facilities. And now it's time to come up with a plan to how can we reintroduce them. So I think that's a big misconception in our field of, I still have people that have come up to me and be like, oh, did you like go to India and grab these tigers? And I'm like, no, no, absolutely not. Yeah. So it's like,
we're trying to save them from people that did do that.
Yes.
Because the rich people did do that.
Exactly. And it's like, and even breeding them, right? Like we breed animals to be under human care though, so we can continue to educate. So that's why we have them do interaction, like meet more people, be around more people as they're growing up, because they're going to be in a zoological setting under human care their entire lives. So we want them to have the best care possible, which means them being comfortable with people around, no matter what setting, whether it's just being on exhibit or whether it's being an ambassador or whatever it is. If they're the most comfortable, then they're going to have a much higher welfare assessment. Like they're going to be a lot more comfortable. They're going to be cool with people being around.
Definitely.
Rather than just being like, don't look at them, don't touch at them, anything. And then all of a sudden there's people around and they're like, I'm going to go hide.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's one of the biggest ones that I still hear that shock me still. I'm like, oh no, like, wow, no, we don't do that at all anymore. But I get where you got that because it's happened.
Yeah, there's still that aura around zookeepers and animal people, like with the circuses back in the day. You know, everybody knows that circus animals weren't treated right throughout history. There's all sorts of documentaries now, like the Blackfish one that I'm sure you've seen about SeaWorld, you know. And so people are passionate about it, they care about it, and they're misinformed, and they look at people like you and they think, well, how dare you take these tigers from their wild and throw them in a cage, and that's just not the case.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think the biggest thing too is to do your research on your own. Like don't just watch a video and then be like, now I'm mad.
That's
like,
it. Yeah, boycott.
We're gonna go let all these animals out. Like it's
Most
like
documentaries they have some sort of an underlying tone to it. Like they're designed to play to your emotions and make you feel a certain way. Like that's the goal, is to tug at your heartstrings and make you go, oh, this is bad.
Yep.
But if you actually look at it, maybe that's not exactly
There's always
the
two
case.
sides.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's never one-sided like that.
No, and that's why it's always I'd say the advice I always give people is just do your research, figure out what it is, because yes, there are going to be facilities that I might not want to go to or support, but that's up to you to do your research on what you want to support, essentially.
Yeah.
And what you're looking for and all that. So it's always, I can't tell you, but if you look it up for yourself, do your research, find out what you're looking at, what you want, and go from there.
Well, just listening to you two talk about it, I mean, animal lovers yourselves, I can tell just by sitting here with you for an hour that you're not going to mistreat an animal. Yeah. And you're not going to do what's wrong for them. I mean, you like them more than humans. You like your animals more than me, you know?
Yeah, I'd say along with Ben, like, people thinking that we've taken them from the wild, just in general, people thinking that zoos are bad places because we're putting these animals in these tiny little cages and locking them up and taking them or not allowing them to be in the wild. But they were born here. This is what they're used to.
Right.
They're fed better than we are. They're given enrichment all day long. A new push that zoos have been doing is going toward choice-based training. So rather than you are going to perform, you're going to do this task, like, I'm going to give you this option. Do you want to participate today? Some days they say yes, and some days they say no, but you're giving them the option. Like when we go to crate the otters, if they run into the crate and they pull the little door closed themselves, you're going to go to the meet and greet today. If they're like, I don't think I want to go in that crate today. All right, you're going to skip this one. You're going to sit this out today. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, giving them the choice to, like,
that's like being progressive in a zoo setting, almost. You know, like we're not going to put you two together and force you to do your business. We're going to allow you to be like, nah,
figure it out. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
and it's cool seeing the changes just in the time we've
That
been
we've
in
been
the
doing
field,
it, yeah.
the growth that
Has it changed quite a
come.
bit?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely. It's really cool just seeing where training even started and then where it's come from and where it's leading to. Like Kiana was saying, it is awesome having it be more choice-based of the animal gets to choose. And guests, for the most part, are pretty awesome about it. And they're like, hey, I get it. Sometimes I don't want to do something either.
Yeah.
And I think appreciate that we're moving in that direction, doing choice-based rather than we got to get you in the crate to take you to do a meet and greet kind of thing. It's
Right.
like, no, this is all you. We'll have a backup plan if you don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
And a lot of husbandry training too, like having animals participate in their own health care, so we don't have to necessarily just knock an animal down if we need to do a procedure, like training them to voluntarily do a blood draw, an ultrasound, all of this
Really?
stuff that, oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, all kinds of things. I just went to a conference, a marine mammal conference a couple months ago, and they showed us a killer whale jumping out of the water and giving a voluntary urine sample, jumping back
So
in the
cool.
water. Like, yeah, stuff that you're like, who would even think to train this? But
What are they,
they're
drug
doing
testing it?
it. You never know.
What have you been doing overnight?
Have you been huffing pufferfish venom?
So yeah, the zoo industry has changed a lot, and definitely it's not
Going in the right
old
direction.
the old zoos
Yeah.
that you think of, like animals just being locked in small cages and thrown food and not not trained, not enriched in any way. Like, a big part of the keeper's jobs is just enriching the animals, giving them different things throughout the day to keep them excited, doing training to keep their mind moving. So it's definitely changed for the better a lot.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. I think that humans are moving in that direction as a whole, it appears to me anyways, because you think of like an old timer, like they viewed cats and dogs as just these things that were alive and around. Like, people are much more compassionate now towards those animals. Like, they know they're a living being that has a conscience of its own. Like, you know, I mean, old timers just didn't give a shit. And humans as a whole, if you look back 100 years, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's crazy. It blows my mind. Even with like plants and stuff. Like, I'm going to California in a month to see the redwoods. They just used to chop those things down.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't give a shit.
No.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you've been living for 2,000 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to chop
Time
it
to
down.
go.
It looks
Yeah. Nope.
insane.
Yeah. Don't think about the consequences. You just
Yeah,
do
don't
it.
think about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a different world now, and looks like it's moving in the right direction. So,
Yeah.
speaking of that, Tanganika is changing up their model a little bit, from what I hear. I wanted to ask about that before you go today.
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
We are switching to a day resort model. So a lot of the people that come to Tanganika, we've found are coming from outside of Kansas or outside of Wichita.
Really?
Yeah, we've had people from Canada, Mexico, a lot of people from like Wisconsin, Arizona, Florida. People are coming from everywhere. Now that they've found out about us, and we're having so many people in the park that we don't want it to be just this crowded like zoo again, where you're just looking at everything and trying to spot the animal and move on
Just
to the
waiting
next
in
thing.
line and trying to push your way towards the front.
It's so many people that you don't get the experiences that's what we're designed for. So we're trying to kind of cut back on the quantity of people and try to have more quality experiences. So having people come and spend all day there, not just come and walk around the park for an hour, but spend your whole day with your family. Like, enjoy feeding the rhinos. You enjoyed it, go feed the rhinos again. Do an otter meet and greet, do a penguin swim. Like, actually spend the whole day there, and it's going to be food included, so everything's included.
Food included.
Yeah.
For the humans or the animals?
Both.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
You let the animal feed me. Can you do that?
Hey, that's an idea.
That is an idea.
Yeah. Give the giraffe one of those little clothespins with some
Yeah.
with a hot dog on it.
We'll have to pass that one up the chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what the health code is on that.
We don't care.
It's a whole new model that we're going to try out, and hopefully it'll be a lot more of an experience for people to come and do and hang out and really
So it'll be
spend
more
some time.
expensive, but it'll include more stuff.
Include more
Correct.
stuff and be more one-on-one,
More personal.
more personal, not like you said, like waiting in line all day just to hand a little crazen to a lemur and then run to the next thing. Like,
Yeah.
we want you to be able to spend 10 minutes with the lemurs if you want to, and ask us questions and actually learn something, and actually maybe be like, oh, this is really cool, I care about this animal, and now I'm going to go donate to a conservation organization because I think lemurs are really awesome animals because I learned this fun fact today.
Yeah.
So we want people to have those more deeper and meaningful experiences rather than just the, all right, I saw it, let's move on.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think we're calling it more of a destination is the lingo that's been used a lot, which I love the thought of that. And one of the reasons that we can do it is because we have Sedgwick. Like,
Yeah.
Sedgwick is a great facility.
Yep.
It is. It's a great zoo. And
I was wondering if you guys had beef there or not. Or
No, not at all.
Beautiful zoo. I love going there.
I love going to Sedgwick and stuff. Like, it is a cool facility to
Yeah.
go to. It's cool to see the animals. But we've learned that that's not our style.
Yeah.
That's not Tanganika's style. It
It's
never
the classic
has
style.
been. Yeah.
Tanganika's Jurassic Park.
Yeah, exactly.
right?
We are Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
That's what we need to start saying.
Yeah.
So it's just like a totally different thing, whereas we're offering these totally different experiences that you can't find at other facilities.
Yeah.
Maybe you can find some. Like, I'm not saying no other facility does it, but that does all of these things and then also has guests just walking around and looking at animals, and then also, like, there's all this stuff that's going in that we've kind of learned of where we feel that we can make the biggest impact to help animals as a whole. So not just our animals, but animals as a whole is
Right.
having more of that connection. Like, I remember when I was 6 and I went to the zoo. I think I was at San Diego on like a family vacation, right? We saved up so we could actually go because we didn't have much money. You save up so you could do these cool things.
Uh-huh.
And I got to see the hippos, and it turned around and it shit right in my face on the glass. The weirdest thing, right?
Smeared it on the glass?
Yeah, it just put its butt against the glass and just pooped everywhere, which they do that. And now that I've worked with hippos, I'm like, I
And
get
you
it.
loved
That's
it.
what they
Yeah,
do.
I get it. But I was 6 and I was just like,
That's so
Mortified.
this is awesome. Like, yeah,
Oh, you loved it?
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. And I was like, I want to learn all about hippos now, right?
Yeah.
So, like we kind of said earlier, of that's what actually gets people to want to do things for animals. That's what gets them to connect. Not playing Where's Waldo and just saying, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Where's the tiger today?
Yeah.
Can't-
And not reading the signs.
Oh, it's asleep. I guess I'll go to the next
Yeah,
one.
just move on.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, we want to be face to face with every guest possible. Like, we want to at least have one staff member, but in theory it'll be at least 4, have that one-on-one and learn about a different animal, teach them about a different animal, have them feed a different animal, set up a meet and greet. Like, it's just a totally different experience. So I think that's also the change that has to happen is we're not a zoo. We're not. And honestly, we've never been called a zoo. We were never Tanganika Zoo. Like, it was Tanganika Wildlife Park.
I guess that's true, yeah.
And it's not. Like, we're not meant to. And we've been trying to be almost. And it's like, no, let's actually fit that groove that we excel at, that we have
Right.
people to do at, that we train our staff to do. Like, we are trained to have these types of interpersonal connection. Like, we are trained to have that.
Yeah.
And so it's more of, I think that's the switch that kind of needs to change.
I think people kind of already understood that. Like, I grew up on Sedgwick County Zoo, obviously living around here when I was a kid. I remember when Tanganika opened, and I remember we were like, there's this zoo opening up in this neighborhood. Like, you drive through it, it's on a dirt road. Like, what's going on here? But then when you experience it, you're like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing as going to Sedgwick County Zoo.
Yeah,
Right.
it's different.
So it makes sense when you go there.
Yeah.
But when we first heard about it, we're like, what is going on? Like, is this
seems-
Neverland Ranch or
This seems
what?
weird. Yeah, this seems kind of weird, but yeah,
Yeah.
and it's come such a long way. Even the 3 years that I've been there, it's not the same at all.
Yeah.
Like,
It's grown a lot.
We've had change the whole time I've been there, and it keeps improving and improving
Right.
in every aspect. People, staff, animals, everything. Like, we are just pushing to go in the right direction and
Yeah.
continue to improve. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is we're not a zoo, and that's what needs to be seen is we're an experience. We're a destination. You're not going to just get this going to a zoo. Not saying there's anything against going to zoos. I love going to zoos and just looking at animals. I will go all day, every day. But it's a totally different style. And
That's a very cool way
just
of
the
thinking about
sloth
it.
meet and greet that we offer is way cheaper here than anywhere else. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's how I see it, at least.
That's a unique way of thinking about it, for sure. That's a good distinction for everybody that's listening to know. Is it's not just going to the zoo.
Yeah.
It's a whole experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this new model that they're going to be doing sounds like it's right up your alley.
Yeah.
It's already kind of been what you've been striving for, and
Yep, we're just trying to dig in deeper and make it even better.
when does that go down? That
Probably opening of next season.
next season?
Whenever we open for the year next year.
Okay. So not this year.
Yeah, this year's still normal.
Still normal right now.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Through the off season will probably be the same, and then when we like officially do our open, which is usually in March of the year, it'll be a whole new place.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And for the people that live here too, like, yeah, I know prices are going up, but look out for the deals. Like, we're still going to have certain discounts or deals or freebies. Like, there's still going to be those things. So that would be my advice.
Yeah.
Is look out for that, so that way you can still come and have the day, or if you do just want to have a quick half day kind of thing, there is still that potential. But we're looking for, like people that are going to be here for the weekend.
So not closing out everybody completely.
No.
Yeah.
Just
we're gonna
switching
give
up the
local
model a little bit.
discounts and
Yeah.
all of that.
Local
but,
discounts.
Yeah, I think there's one that we're going to do where you can like check it out at the library, I think is what they were saying too,
Oh,
which is pretty
yeah.
cool. Because then you can technically go for free if you have a library card. But it might be checked
Rock
out a
and
lot,
roll.
so
Yeah.
make sure you get on that.
Well, do you guys have any last words of wisdom or anything you want to say? Anything that I didn't bring up that's been on your mind?
I think we've kind of touched on it, but I guess just my takeaway is always like getting to do these up close experiences with the animals. I feel like that's what really makes you care about animals in the wild. Like, even I've been on safari in Africa. It's awesome, but it's kind of like a zoo. It's like, okay, there's a cheetah over there, there's an elephant over there, like, but I went to a wildlife center in Africa that had baby orphaned elephants, and I got to feed the elephant up close, and now I'm like, okay, this is awesome, like actually getting to get on this animal's level. So getting those people that come in and do a sloth tour, they meet a penguin, they meet a red-ruffed lemur, and then we're able to tell them, hey, there's this really cool thing you can do. There's this app on your phone that you can download, and you don't have to change anything. It just counts your steps. It's a pedometer, and you're planting trees. Like, if I just come up to you and said, hey, will you download this app and plant trees, they'd be like, I'm not going to listen to you. But now
No.
that they've met the lemur and they've learned to care about the lemur, and they're like, yeah, I would really like to do something that could help out this animal in the wild, they're a lot more likely to make that change and to care a little bit more. Like,
For sure.
any little tip that we can give people, there's all kinds of things that we throw out there to people, little changes they can make. But again, if I just tell you to make this change, you're probably not going to do it. But once you've
Right.
had that connection with the animal, you're like, yeah, I really hope that there are sloths around for my grandkids to meet, and I want to do whatever I can to make sure that that happens.
Yeah.
So I think it's more likely to inspire change.
Definitely, yeah. And inspire more animal people like you.
Yeah.
If you're a kid and you get to experience a lemur sitting on your lap, like you're going to remember that the rest of your
Oh,
life.
that's all my nephew talks
know?
about whenever he comes to visit.
Yeah.
He walks up to people that he hasn't met, and he's like, I had a lemur jump on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And they're like, what?
Or I saw a hippo shit in my face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any animal
Like,
person,
why
like, they
would that
have
be the
that
memory?
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That moment when you're like, okay, this is what stuck out to me, and this is why I care.
Yeah, yeah. Well, right on. Any last words?
I don't think so.
You got some social medias or some anything you want to shout out? People can find you at, or you're just here to represent Tanganika?
Yeah, Tanganika's site is twpark.com. Tanganika Wildlife Park on Facebook, Instagram,
And
all of those.
TikTok as well.
TikTok, yeah, we have a
I
really
recommend
awesome
the TikTok. I don't even have TikTok.
Me
but
neither.
I don't either.
I still recommend it because there's some good videos that are on there.
I'll tag it. It's in my description, folks. Go look it up. It's all right there. Thank you
Oh,
both
yeah.
for coming on today. This was fun.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
learned a lot.
Good.
I got to geek out on some animals with you.
You have to
Heck
come
yeah.
visit and
Yeah.
actually
Oh, I will.
do the experience.
I will now.
Just let us know.
Now that I know you,
Yeah, let us know in
my
advance.
head, I'm like, hey.
And you'll get to see all kinds of cool shit.
Yeah, for sure.
hey, let me feed that bear.
We don't have a bear.
We're going to get a sun
I'm
bear.
trying.
Get a sun bear,
We're
and
gonna
then
get
he
a sun
can come
bear.
feed it.
I will let you feed that sun bear. You give me that sun bear, I'll let you feed that sun bear.
Hell yes. Get him a sun bear.
Yeah.
Come on, whoever's listening.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both for coming on. This was a blast. Hopefully you inspired some change tonight. You already are. I work every day. So for people listening that maybe haven't experienced it, maybe they'll go out and do it now.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Come visit us.
Cheers.
Cheers.